Deane, you guys started off the weekend pretty well, a nice win over a good Howard team, and then you guys kind of faltered on Saturday. What were some of the issues that were kind of plaguing you guys on Saturday?
We struggled defensively. That is an area that I would say right now as a team, service and then team defense are areas that really need to improve. And I think even in the matches we won, we went 2-2 last week. I don't know that we defended at a high level, and I think that really showed as we got later into the week. And against Virginia, there was many balls that I think we could have defended, even should have defended, that we didn't. And then service was just not a level that we needed to be able to run our middles. And we think our middles can be pretty effective. We saw that against Howard. But if we don't pass well enough, then we're going to really struggle getting them the ball.
Is there any concern about the number of attack errors at all and how you guys can clean that up a little bit?
And that, again, goes back to service. You know, if you are, every time you attack, you're going against a well-formed block, and you have four hands in front of you and a defense is sitting there waiting for your attacks, sometimes you press. You know, you want to make an intelligent shot, but at the same time you realize, okay, if we're not playing well, then you have that maybe too high of a sense of urgency when you're attacking that I have to go get a kill right now, even though everything's perfectly well formed on the other side, and that sometimes leads to errors. And so that, again, I think if we clean up service, I think the hitting errors should go down.
I know we talked about after the Bobcat Invitational, just how bad you guys needed that win over Oklahoma on Friday night and the psyche of the team. Do you feel like your team's psyche took any kind of a hit this weekend, and how do you as a coach kind of deal with that with a younger team whenever they're kind of going through the down part of the ups and downs?
Right. I think the big thing is just not to ever get too high, not to get too low. You know, we beat Howard. Howard beat Virginia. Howard went 5 with VCU, who was clearly the best team there, which we knew going in on video from everything we had seen. We felt that VCU was the best team there. And so that was a good win. And then just a few hours later, we come back and just not play well at all. And so it's a matter of trying to find what are the things that we can improve that will have the biggest payoff for our team right now. And again, we feel like serve receive and then our defense are those areas. And so it's really for us as coaches not getting too high or too low emotionally and just understanding win or lose, there's always things we need to work on. And so we go in this morning, we spent a lot of time on serve receive, spent a lot of time on defense, spent quite a bit of time in the video room today talking about those things. And ultimately, we can only control our side. We can't control the other side. And, I mean, was it a hit this weekend? Yeah, probably some. You know, were there maybe some concerns leaving there in terms of confidence compared to earlier in the week? I would think so, yes. But that's part of the pain of losing. You know, when you lose, it hurts. It's supposed to hurt. If it doesn't, then I'd really have some problems. And so as long as they're working and willing to put in the time to get better, then we're going to be fine.
Coach, can you give an update on Katie's injury and where she's at as far as the recovery process and coming back?
Yeah, we can't speak specifically on that other than to say that she's progressing, and it's just going to take time. You know, with every injury, it's just different. And I wish, as a coach, this isn't, just to be clear, this isn't just me not telling you, although sometimes that's the case because I have to be that way. This is I don't know either, truly. And it's one of those things with trainers, you have to know that they're going to do the best they can to get your kids back. And we have trainers that truly work hard to help our kids get back. But everybody responds differently. And so then we have to wait and see, and as they go through different steps of recovery, then when they're back, we'll be really happy to have her, because not just her play, which is important, but her leadership is important. And I think that was a real challenge. It has been a challenge since both those kids went out, just losing both your captains and having them out for a prolonged period of time. Jamie traveled with us this last weekend, and she was there and still spoke on the bench and things like that. But it's not the same as being out there during points. So she's still out today, and we hope to get her back soon.
So obviously, Lizzie stepped up, and Tia and Sarah, they've, as far as on the court, but off the court, with your two captains out, who's been kind of the vocal leader in practice, and who's been kind of standing out for you?
I think we're probably still waiting to see that, honestly. I think we have people that want to lead but don't know how to lead. We have people that are really young and it hasn't crossed their mind to even think about leading, because it shouldn't be thinking about that as a freshman. So that's probably our biggest challenge right now, is I would say we don't have someone that is really comfortable in that role yet. both in, we always tell leaders, look, you got to take care of yourself first. You can't be worried about leading 5 other people and then you're not playing at a high level. You're not really helping us at that point. So I don't know if we have anyone that's really comfortable in that. I will say I think I'm seeing Lizzie start to do a little bit more of that. We haven't really asked her to be a vocal leader necessarily, but she is our on-court captain, and she is someone that by her play is leading. She has ups and downs like every player, but she is getting more consistent. She passed. She was actually our best passer this last week for the entire team. And so there's some things that she's really improving that I don't know if it will be, I don't know if the stats will show all of her improvement, because when you move from 02 to 01 and you're not passing well, that means you have to get a lot of bad balls. You have to get bad situations where the other team's fully positioned, fully ready for you. Your chances of scoring aren't really high, and you still have to take those swing after swing after swing. And so I think she's handling those situations better, and we're seeing that. And so even though the product doesn't necessarily change, the process is a ton better. And I think she probably improved. If I'm saying anybody this last week, I'll put Steph in that group as well. I think they both had great weeks of improvement. Steph obviously just becoming an outside hitter. I guess after tomorrow's practice, if I'm counting this correctly, she will have had more practices as an outside hitter than she will have had matches. So that's an important step. I know it sounds kind of funny, but it's true. And she really is learning, really is developing this weekend. Even throughout the weekend, as the matches went on, she got better at learning what she needed to do as an outside hitter. And but I would say Lizzie is the person who's probably stepping up the most right now.
And then looking ahead to this upcoming weekend, how big of a, I guess, I don't really want to say measuring stick, but kind of how big of scale are you going to get for how your team is feeling mentally and physically just from playing a team like Penn State?
Well, we're looking forward to this week, and I think I'm looking forward to this week because we get another day of practice. And I don't know if our players would all say that. I hope that they know. I think they understand how much we need to learn right now. And so the fact that we're not playing a midweek, we're not traveling like we were a couple weeks ago on a Monday, and then playing a Tuesday match and all that, and then last week having a Tuesday home game, we have a chance to get caught up with the things that we need to learn on volleyball. We get a chance to get caught up and not get behind further in classes because we're here a little more, and then get ready for a good weekend. And if we can address the things that I feel like we need to this week in practice, I think we have a chance to have a good weekend. If we don't make the changes in service receive and defense that we need to make, then it'll be a tough weekend. So we know we have to work hard this week. We have to make sure our focus and our attention is on the things that it needs to be with regards to positioning and the ball-block relationship that sets up our defense and all those things. Those need to take big strides as we go into a big weekend.
Looking ahead to this weekend, I know you've probably just started diving into the tape, but what are the challenges that your opponents are going to present this weekend?
I would say this week we probably know less about our opponents than some other weeks because we felt we had so much that we need to work on ourselves. And literally as of this moment, I have not watched a second of video on our opponents because I spent all the hours of video watching on the way back Saturday night and then at home yesterday just watching our team. And right now we will get much more out of this weekend if we spend more effort improving our own team. We had a staff meeting right before this and broke up who was doing what scouting, so of course that'll be happening throughout the day today, and that will be a part of our practice the next couple of days. But I would say this week, I would say we're going to be a lot more focused on our side than what maybe are the slight changes from different teams we may play. Our side really needs to improve.
Going back to the kind of leadership questions, when you don't have that clearly defined person on the court anymore, does that change the way you and your coaching staff have to kind of approach the team and deal with the team?
It's a good question, and yes, it definitely does. And I think that's one of the challenges is you don't have that opportunity to say, hey, you handle this. You still have in timeouts. You have that. Like there was a timeout this weekend in one of our matches. I just said, Jamie, it's your timeout, the whole timeout. And so I didn't say a word because we want our leaders to be able to lead. But it's more watching what's happening on the court and watching the faces, or how do we respond to adversity. The other team goes on a 4-point run. If we just made a hitting error at a bad time, or we just missed a routine play, and so now kind of momentum changes, what are the faces like out there? Because when we because our sport, for whatever reason, comes together after every point. When you have a leader in those moments, that's when you settle your team, and that's when we reset before the next play. When you don't really have that person, if you're not careful, you're just kind of running into that moment, and nothing really positive or any kind of functional communication takes place. And so those are the things that we have to watch. And I think all of us as coaches, myself, starting with me, that we have to do a better job of helping the emotions of the moment be what they need to be to then turn around the next point and be successful.
And speaking to the emotions a little bit, obviously Penn State has a certain mystique to it that few other programs have. It's going to be probably a crazy environment at their place. How do you manage that with a young team?
Well, they're an outstanding program, and they're one of the best programs in the history of our sport. And it's a tremendous opportunity and an honor, truly, for us to be able to go compete against them. They were ranked, I believe, 3rd last week. The rankings haven't come out yet today. Could be second, could be third, I don't know. But without a doubt, they're a great team. And I haven't looked back at the annals of history here at Ohio, but I'm assuming it's been quite some time since we've played a top 3 team. And those are huge opportunities. And not just to go out and play in the moment, but to truly learn. What does that look like to play at that level? Not just what does it look like? Oh, you're big. Oh, you jump high. But what does it look like with regards to intensity, with regards to communication, with regards to effort at all times? And those are the things that we spent this morning talking about. Just the challenge just right now is, and I even said this in the locker room after our last match, is that we don't know what we don't know. And we don't understand, and we're trying to learn, but we don't understand the level of work that it takes. And that's true in many, many phases of what we're trying to do right now. And some of the best ways to learn is by seeing someone else put it in action. And not just, okay, they all jump really high and they all hit really hard, but what are the little things? What are the nuanced things that are happening over there that our team can learn from? So certainly it's a huge opportunity. We haven't since, I guess we beat Kentucky when they were number 10 a couple of years ago. We haven't played another team in the top 10. And so definitely looking forward to the level of play on the other side, looking forward to that environment too, looking forward to the crowd. I think as an athlete, it should be easy to get up and get excited to play in that environment. If you can't, then what are we doing? I mean, that's just a tremendous opportunity. I know we're all looking forward to that.
And finally, besides getting some wins this weekend, it's your final weekend of non-conference play, which is kind of crazy to think that we're already at that point.
Right.
But what do you guys, what do you want to see out of the team? What will make this a successful weekend for you guys heading into conference play?
I think 2 things. 1, if we're the hardest working team there, I'll be satisfied. And 2, we need to make different mistakes. We need to make mistakes because that's part of learning, but we need to make different mistakes than what we did this last weekend.